said, excuse me, but you don't understand where I'm at. I was all around the world, on span, cross the map. I've been laying low and now it's time to pop up, bitch, I'm back. Now I'ma run it up. Snooze on the kid that you dumb or what? You better go get your numbers up. Now
Remember now, we're not here to judge anybody. We want to handle this with love, right? You want to tell him how his drug abuse has hurt you, maybe hurt himself. Okay, Harold, what time did you tell him to be here?
5 o'clock, but he's always late.
No, he'll be here. In 3, 2, 1.
Is this a 5 o'clock free crack giveaway?
Yes. Is this the 5 o'clock free crack giveaway? I don't know. It certainly isn't. It's actually 9:22 p.m. in the Eastern. So, but you know what?
That's a giveaway? Like, what do you? If there's no crack, then what are you giving, Matt?
It is 5 o'clock crack free giveaway or whatever somewhere right now, of course. But
he won't share his crystal meth with us.
No. Of course, here on the Bleeding Edge, that's how we like to start the show off, with a little bit of technical difficulties and interesting, video clips and whatnot and everything. But of course, we are here to cover some very serious matters this evening on the MCU's Bleeding Edge live stream MCU show. I'm here with my co-host Cyberneticshark once again on another Wednesday evening. So far on the guest panel, we've got Renee from the Podcast of Champions. What's going on, Renee?
Really terrific. But I want to point out one thing to you, Jeff. Please stop using my photo for your introduction.
Oh, man, Renee.
Damn, that's Renee? Hey, what's up?
What's up with you?
Yeah, right. Hey, I'm in LA. Where you at?
I'm telling you right now, Renee, if that's you in that freaking video, then hey, you should join TikTok or Instagram, and you could probably make $1 million.
Easy.
Who said I haven't?
Well, all I can tell you is, Arch actually, our buddy Arch from the Podcast of Champions reached out to me one day and said, Jeff, if you're going to do these intros and you're going to play attractive women on them, you might as well use the MCU ladies in them. So that's what I'm doing now. From now on, I'm focusing on the MCU ladies, and that is, of course, the beautiful Tessa Thompson, Valkyrie, in that intro. Yes, she has that big of an ass.
That looked like Jennifer Lopez.
No,
that doesn't actually look like, when I actually look at it, it doesn't look like Tessa Thompson.
That's Valkyrie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm telling you. Anyways,
cool.
So we also have Audie for the third time in a week. Audie, what up?
Hello, good sir. How are you doing today?
Yes, Audie is actually present with his video and audio on this show. He's not going to be fading in and out and everything like we had the one night.
I'm not going to promise anything, but okay.
He's on top of his shit. We're waiting on a couple guests, but of course, the matter at hand is part 2 of a review of Age of Ultron. Now, Cyber, I could not remember for sure when we actually officially cut off from part 1. Can you tell me?
Right after the Hulkbuster scene.
Okay. So
we ended right at the very end of when the Hulkbuster and Hulk battle out before they go to Hawkeye's house. So
perfect.
Hawkeye's house is right where you're going to be starting.
Perfect. So basically, I want to go ahead and point out that we've got Jeff Bowman in the house in the comment section. Good friend of the MCU's Bleeding Edge. Frequent guest of late, who's going to be on a couple shows with me this weekend, hopefully on Friday and Sunday, when I do my 9:20 p.m. Eastern Friday and Sunday live streams that I'm doing now over the weekend. So we got Jeff in the comment section, and Jeff is digging Cyber's Marvel hat.
You got to thank my wife for that. She's the one that got me in. But thank you, Jeff.
That's right. That's right. Cyber showed up with a cooler hat than me tonight. I look stupid as shit. He's got the cooler hat. But, you know, it is what it is.
I still think your hat looks good. Fine. I don't think it looks stupid.
It's okay. It doesn't really go with my shirt, to be honest with you. Like, as far as color coordination goes or whatever, I could have done a better job with the matching. You know what I mean? But
I would have went with a black hat, but yeah.
Yeah, that probably would have been a good idea. You know how it is when you get new stuff, you want to wear it.
Yep.
So I guess that you know, I was kind of trying to kill a little bit of time, hoping that our other guests would pop on before we started the review. But I'll tell you what we'll do. Why don't I go ahead and play the Age of Ultron trailers quick and get that out of the way, and hopefully when they're done, we should have Gunnar and Arch here.
Okay. It's time, people. Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron.
If I can find them.
I was about to say, like, what? Did you find it?
I'm gonna show you something beautiful. Everyone screaming for mercy. You want to protect the world, but you don't want it to change. You're all puppets, tangled in strings.
The end. The end of the path I started us on.
Nothing lasts forever.
I was designed to save the world. People will look to the sky and see hope. I'll take that from them first. There's only one path to peace. Their extinction.
Tried to create a suit of armor around the world. But I created something terrible. Artificial intelligence. It's called the Ultron program. I'm sick of watching people pay for our mistakes. Isn't why we fight so we can end the fight and go home?
Well, you amazingly failed.
We all are, with nothing but our wit and our will to save the world. So stand and fight.
No way we all get through this. I got no plans tomorrow night.
I'm always picking up after you boys.
We can tear them apart. inside.
That's the best you can do!
You had to ask. This vulnerable world needs something more powerful than any of us.
Everyone creates the thing they dread. Ultron in the flesh. No matter who wins or loses, trouble always comes around. You meddle to something you don't understand.
We have no place in the world.
I'm gonna tear you apart from the inside.
Oh boy.
Arch is in the comment section. Arch, your link is on Sakar, bro. Just jump on Sakar, man. I already sent it to you. It's on there. Or you know what? Here, if I didn't send it to you, I'll send it to you right now. That's how important Arch Stanton is to the show. I will stop doing everything immediately just to go on Sakar right now and give Arch his link for the show.
Yeah, Arch. Yeah.
Arch, I'm sending the link right now, brother. Right to you.
Right to you.
It's like we're kind of assembled.
Yes.
Like Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there it is. It is sent. Arch, your link is on Sakar in your inbox, bro.
Yes, you are, Arch. You are very important. How dare you say you're not important?
Yes, he is. So anyways, now, all right, as far as the trailers go, so starting off with you, Renee, do you feel like what you see in the trailers is emblematic of what you get out of the film? Does it mirror at least like what you end up with?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think the trailers conveyed the idea that this is artificial intelligence taking over our lives, and in the form of these robot bodies. And anything that's got robots in it, I'm on board anyway. So yeah, I mean, I thought it did a really good job. Very attractive trailers too.
Yes, especially for when they were made. I think that they were great. Very well done. What do you think, Cyber?
I think I agree with Renee on that, because I remember when those trailers first came out, I remember feeling, wow, this movie is going to be epic. It's going to be fantastic. And it, like, even from like the trailers for the first Avengers, I thought this one was even more intense and more, intriguing. So when I went and saw this in theaters and, came out of it going, wow, the trailers really did give us an impactful feeling of what this was going to be like. And I would agree that all around, I think that the trailers really did give us a good indication of what and how good this film was going to be.
Audie, same question to you, brother.
It was okay. Not the best.
It was okay.
It was okay.
Did you feel like the trailers were emblematic of what you got from the film?
Well, after watching that, to be honest, after watching the film, it's kind of like the trailer's like, oh, that's cool. There's certain parts that it doesn't really how do I say this? It doesn't allude to certain things. You know how most trailers, like when they tell you something, it'll tell you like the meat and potatoes of particular like plot lines without like over embellishing, if that makes sense. So it does get the energy up and you want to see more, but there are certain things it's like, wait a minute, was that in a trailer? Oh. I don't know. I think the trailer's okay. It's whatever. I'm the hater though, right? You know that.
Well, it says right in there. It says the path that we have started on. You started us on the path that we've started on. So, Stark, his path has been this robot shield force to help save the world. And of course, he's a man who's been living. He has the ability to interface with a robot type body, but then Ultron is the alter ego of Tony Stark, who can only go yes or no. He doesn't have the ambiguities of a human who can think things through and rationalize and all that stuff. It's either yes or no. So as Ultron sees it, humanity has to go. So yeah, I got that right off the bat with just that statement right there.
Well, honestly, I never saw these trailers back in the day myself. I did not see them. Before seeing Age of Ultron, I did not see the trailers. I saw them afterwards, and I'll tell you, people were really excited. Like, people were really stoked. Seeing the Hulkbuster armor for the first time was a big hit for people, especially in the reaction videos and everything that I've seen. Like, the Hulkbuster armor was like the big thing, The Hulk fight with Iron Man with the Hulkbuster armor is like the standout part of the trailers, basically, almost. But I definitely agree with you, Cyber, that the trailers gave off an impression that the movie had more of an edge to it than the first Avengers film did. Right? Mm-hmm. Like it was almost, like it was going to be, like it was more serious, more dark.
Yeah, but it was a Disney film, so there's only so far it could really go. So. Well,
yeah. And of course it was the last Joss Whedon movie that we got in the MCU, and I'll put it out there right now to start off the review. I love Age of Ultron. I think it's one of the best MCU films ever made. And it's it's totally underrated, if anything. But okay. Save it, Audie. Save it, Audie. We'll get into it. Save it. So let's get into review mode. Let's get into the movie where we jumped off, where we pick up from where Cyber finished on part 1. So the Avengers show up at Clint's farm that nobody knows about, of course, because it's like a secret agent kind of deal that he worked out with S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever, or Nick Fury. We get Ultron going to Korea to use Dr. Helen Cho and her cradle to essentially build the perfect version of himself with the stolen vibranium from Claw and, also the Mind Stone, which I believe he, grabs out of the staff or something like that. Doesn't he, Cyber? Doesn't he, grab it and, smash it with his hands? Kind of like Thanos?
At the farm?
No. When Ultron goes to the lab in Korea.
I don't think he is. I don't think he grabs it just like that and smashes it. I think it's more of a. I thought it was more meticulous than that. I thought he was more gentle with it versus how Thanos did it in Infinity War.
Well, either way, he does handle the Infinity Stone, which I think is actually something
Thanos
really
important.
I think it's very important to point that out. Ultron handled the Infinity Stone in his hands, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And then inserted it on top of what was going to be his new Ultron body. That's a really big thing if you think about it, because obviously we learned in Guardians of the Galaxy, which we reviewed, recently, that you're not supposed to pick up Infinity Stones with your bare hands, right? That that right there should give you an idea of the power of Ultron. You know what I mean? Like what they made, with him and whatnot. I don't know what you guys think, but I feel like Ultron looked fucking awesome in this movie. He looks great. Like in the scenes where you see him like in full form, he looks big and menacing and dark and like scary. And like he's no joke. Anybody else? Anybody else feeling me on that?
I mean, I know he definitely looked different than he did in the comics a little bit, and I know that he definitely had a more, MCU look and everything like that, which I was perfectly fine with. I thought he ended up looking pretty cool. I thought that it was cool, kind of like how throughout the film he kept progressing in his look and size and everything with his look and everything. So I thought that was kind of cool, like, because that final form he gets before Wanda kills him, basically, you kind of get this like a very muscular, masculine, robot thing and stuff like that, which was pretty impressive. So I thought that was kind of a clever, thing that the MCU did with him and giving him the kind of like that different look every single time he kind of grew in the film. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, he became progressively more feral looking, more animal like.
Yeah, and I mean honestly, as a villain, he might be underrated. Like James Spader as Ultron might be underrated because I mean honestly, I thought Ultron was a pretty good damn villain. No, Audie, I know you haven't. Go ahead, Audie.
I was gonna say, isn't that the guy that was in the Blacklist, James Spader, who did the voice of Ultron?
Yeah.
I was actually in the show for a little bit. I was in the Blacklist for a little bit. I was a hacker. It was a episode. Let me see. It's called Thrushes. I'm trying to remember it because I was like a little scene I did. You see me there dancing, whatever. So that's when you mentioned. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta find that scene and send it to you. It's a quick little snippet. But I was on the Blacklist for a little bit. So yeah.
Oh, so you're an actor?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Me and James.
I'll have to check that.
His name is.
I'll have to check that episode out.
Yeah. I'll send it to y'all guys so I could be like, so you can find out where I'm at. It's a pretty quick little snippet, but yeah, I'm up there.
Well, geez, I mean, come on, Audie, why didn't you bring it with you to the show so I could play it and everything and whatnot right during the show?
That's because you see me, but you don't. So I guess and I shot so many scenes. So when I finally saw it, I was like, wait, that's it? Okay. All right. But I was an extra, so who really cares about an extra?
Well, I have a, if you want to hear it, when I appeared in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, wow.
If you want to hear it, if not.
You did?
Yeah, I was in Chicago. It was, they were actually, it was a Saturday and we had some time the job I was doing, we had some time off on Saturday. And so a friend and I we're just walking downtown Chicago and we were down on Michigan Avenue and here comes these, the Shriners that have these little buzzy cars, that they just come out of nowhere. And now Saturday downtown Chicago, it was, kind of quiet anyway. We walk a little bit further and then there's doing the scenes. They're actually shooting two scenes. The first one, though, did have Matthew Broderick come out and stand on the float, and he mimes to Twist and Shout. And so, as you say, extras, they were actually the extras, and then there were just the street people like me who were kind of crowding around. And I always look for myself in that movie. However, I've never found myself. What did happen, though, John Hughes, I actually stopped the first part of the scene, first take, because I thought my flash was off my camera and it wasn't. So John Hughes turned around and gave me a very nasty look and, yelled cut and all that stuff. So that's my story.
Well, that is fabulous. That is very interesting, Renee. I want to go ahead and welcome back to the Bleeding Edge, Arch Stanton. What's up, brother?
Yo, man, I don't know why it took me so long to get it, but it just popped in. So good to see you guys.
Welcome, Arch.
It's wonderful to see you too, man. It's wonderful to see you too. Arch, this is Audie, man.
Yeah, I was listening to him. I didn't know we had a full-on movie star on tonight.
Thank you. You're too kind. Thank you.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
Oh, yeah, both of you. Good to see you too, Cyber.
And then Arch, definitely.
Good to see you, Arch.
Arch, this is a chick that I'm actually planning on bringing on the show as a guest.
Please tell me that's an electric car.
She gave up. She gave up, man.
Wow. That must have been an electric car. It had
I've been there. I've been there with a rental. Trying to
Renee,
figure out what to put the gasoline
You've been there, Renee? You've actually went to go gas and you've opened your fucking rear door to like see if you could do it through there?
No, not that. But you know that when you have a car that's not your car and then you go to fill up and then well, damn, which way do I pull in? Do I pull it on my left or right? You know, you don't know where the gas tap's going to be at. And it kind of like the old Family Vacation where Chevy Chase is doing the thing and he finally rips off the tag on his car and it's not there. But anyway, it kind of reminds me of that.
I don't like how she just gave up like that and everything and didn't even get gas. Like, I mean, honestly, that could be hazardous to other drivers. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you
can find the gas, what side it's on by the indicator on your dashboard.
I think she probably was just embarrassed at that point.
But she's just probably a trophy wife, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe
comes from country.
Wow.
Maybe she showed up for the 5 o'clock free crack giveaway.
It's probably not.
No.
Maybe.
Not crack at all. I tell you everything. Yeah.
That sounds like something a crackhead would do. The whole thing right there with the gas and whatnot. But anyways, I digress.
Crackhead would have sold a car.
Yeah. Okay, so basically Ultron shows up in Korea. He kind of like he kind of like takes over Helen Cho's mind with the Mind Stone and goes ahead and sets the Mind Stone on like the forehead of what is going to be his new Ultron body in the cradle in Korea. Now, we jump right from there back to Clint's farm, and we get a scene that I want to hear everybody's opinion on. We get the Natasha Banner shower interaction romantic scene or whatever, where, Bruce says something on the lines of, I used all the hot water or something like that. And Natasha's like, oh, I should have joined you or whatever. And, I don't know. I mean, and then, look, there's interesting. No, hold on, Arch. There's interesting aspects of the dialogue because for the first time, Natasha does get into like her whole Red Room experience and whatnot. It opens up about like some of the stuff that she went through during like that whole part of her life and everything. But I'm sorry, but like I felt like that entire dynamic fell apart. Like it didn't work in the movie. It didn't really work that well in that scene. Like them talking about, like Natasha talking about how she's going to run away with Bruce or whatever and everything. That made no sense to me.
I've got some deep thoughts on that.
Go ahead, Arch.
Yeah, I do too.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I've thought about this for a long time, and I know it's a point of contention with a lot of people, but I really think it works on a super deep level. The way I always view this is that Natasha has been around, fighters. She's said this like several times in other films. Like that's her life. She wants to get out of that. She wants something that she feels is just real and like a normal life. And Bruce is sort of a person that she can access for that. Like, he's a friendly guy. He's genuine. She knows he's trustworthy, and he's not in her circle of people who just grew up as killers. He's not that. So it's somebody she would be attracted to. That it makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, I'm interested to hear Renee's perspective because, clearly I'm not a woman, so I don't know what that perspective might exactly be like, but it makes a lot of sense to me that she's wanting to get out of this life she's been in, and Bruce is a great guy to do that with. So I think it makes a ton of sense. And from Bruce's perspective, it's Natasha Romanoff, man. It's Scarlett Johansson. I mean, where's the downside here? Except that he senses that, this isn't necessarily, a genuine love. It's not really about him so much as it's about the situation. I feel like without getting too personal, I feel like
so
I've
basically,
been
Arch,
past-
you're saying that Bruce is he's such a white knight and he's such a good guy that he would like pass up on some pussy just to like whatever.
Well, I don't think he doesn't want to. Who would? But I mean, I think he's also good enough to know that like maybe maybe he sees what I'm talking about. That maybe this isn't really about him so much as it's about the situation for her. And maybe that's unfair to Natasha. I don't know, but I think he maybe senses it's not really a romance between the two so much as it's the convenience, perhaps, or at least he's worried about that. He's hesitant to just jump into it, but I think it's a relationship that makes a lot of sense. It's not a perfect relationship. It's something that doesn't match, but I think the beauty of that is that happens a lot in real life. Like, every relationship in this series doesn't have to be the ideal, yes, they were supposed to be together, like sort of thing. And this one feels a little rough around the edges, and I think that's a great thing.
Well, I'll tell you, Arch, since you brought up being a woman, I actually want to play a commercial for women's sports.
Oh, God.
There you go. We are.
Wow.
Well, you just killed Arch's sentiment there.
Arch, we're supporting women's sports right here, brother.
Hey, I'm a big women's tennis fan. I don't know if that counts, but yeah,
I think that was
for sure.
Did you like that, Audie? I know you did.
That nigga was big.
Yo.
I mean, wait, what's the pronouns? Yo, I'm gonna play tennis. Yeah, go ahead, ma'am.
Anyways, that's what's going on with women's sports these days. That's current news with women's sports. And sorry about that, Arch. I wasn't trying to like take the seriousness out of like your comment or anything. But
No.
Renee, go ahead and jump in. I know you had something to say too.
Yes, absolutely. And I really appreciate what Arch says, and I want to dovetail on what he says. We're right in the middle of a lull of a crisis. We've got what's just happened and what they're anticipating what's coming. So they're trying to relax a little bit. Bruce and Natasha are great friends. They really connected on a spiritual level, probably more than he could with anybody else. And she with him, probably maybe the exception would be Clint. So what you have here are two really good friends who really admire each other and do absolutely love each other, who want to do the next step, which is go romantic and become a couple. But I think it's forced. It looks forced on the screen because that's how it's actually supposed to be felt by the characters. It's just not going to work. They're going to try. They're going to give it a shot. They're going to try to say all the right things and everything that you're doing when you start up a romance. But it's Ultron is sitting there right between them, and the whole future that they sort of suspect is going to come soon is going to drive them apart. So,
okay, Cyber.
My take on that scene is twofold. One, I get why everyone enjoys it. I get why it's an interesting little segment to add into the film. But my other take on it is I just feel it was very unnecessary for the plot to move on in Age of Ultron. I get that there's a lot of Easter eggs in these films, and I get that this was kind of one of those like kind of little Easter eggs a little bit, talking about getting it to Thor Ragnarok and getting it farther down the line in the MCU and stuff like that. But I thought it was an okay scene. I thought that just like Arch says and, Renee has said, there's a lot of dynamics in that scene, giving it a lot of great, interesting thoughts and prospects and perspectives and stuff like that. I get that. But overall, for me as a moviegoer and movie enjoyer, I just didn't think it really was necessary to have that kind of sub-love story going on. And, I get that, a lot of people like that kind of stuff. I just prefer in an action flick, a Marvel film, I just don't need that. And I didn't think that it was the greatest scene. But overall, I thought, it played into what we needed it to play into at the end of the film in a very positive and enlightening way.
Okay. Audie, you want to jump in on this?
Yo, that shit did not look natural at all. When I was watching it, I was like, wait, she's going to go on the date with the one nigga she pisses off. He's going to just I mean, come on. Hey, Bruce, I got you this meal. I'm sorry. I think they messed up your order. Bitch, what do you mean wrong? And then all of a sudden it's just whooping her ass, whooping everybody's ass for what? Every minute? I don't know. It probably doesn't seem natural. Like, that's the guy you're going to date? The one that's always angry, as he said in that one movie, in the Avengers movies. I'm always angry. That's the guy you want to be on the date with? All right.
I just want to point
see how that works.
Audie, I just want to point out to you, man, if you keep on dropping the nigger word and whatnot, you're going to get us in trouble with Disney.
I said nigga. That's a completely different thing what you said.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I've got another thought on that, though.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, it's supposed to feel sort of unnatural. It is awkward relationship. But
super.
The thing that I think builds that up is the beginning when they have the whole lullaby scene, and what's going on here is that I feel like initiated this is Natasha's overcome like a great fear. Like, she's able to conquer lots of things. She's a very strong woman. She's very capable physically. She's very smart. But the one thing she couldn't overcome for sure is Bruce's anger. And this is something she did overcome. Like, she ended up, having that, having that ability to calm him down, to get through to him, to reach him on a like very deep personal level and bring him back. And that is a deep-seated connection between the two. And that's what the genesis of this relationship is. It's extremely personal.
Wow, that's deep. I mean, you know what? I'm just playing. I'm not going to cry. But no. Look, all I can say is, once again, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure who decided in the when they were in the rooms, like before they were planning Age of Ultron with Joss Whedon and the writers and everything and whatnot. Like, I don't know who like was thinking to themselves like, we need a Hulk and Black Widow romance in this movie. Like, we need this in the movie. I don't know, like, where that came from or whatever.
Focus groups.
I'm telling you right now.
They test all this stuff before they put it. That's not to say that the test group's going to, give them what the general population is going to be, but they really test all this stuff.
They could have just taken out that entire deal, like with Bruce Banner and like Scarlett Johansson, and just had her just like show her exposed breasts one time. For like 3 or 4 seconds.
Wow.
And that would have replaced the entire thing. Ed been more impactful. But anyways, I
gotta go feed my crickets.
Oh my god. Hey, did we move on? I don't want to take up all the airtime here, but did we move on from the Ultron, building himself the vibranium body thing already?
No, we're getting right back into it actually right now, because we're moving on from Bruce could have gotten the shower with Nat, but he was too much of a wussy or whatever to do it. That scene to basically we get the Tony and Steve chopping wood scene, which I thought was at least interesting to bring up, because they go back. They go back and forth, and Chris Evans looks really freaking good in his t-shirt, like splitting the wood and everything and whatnot. He looks good, and basically, Tony is laying out to him all of the excuses and reasons for why it was necessary and the right thing to do to create Ultron, and of course, Clint's wife, Laura, comes out and asks Tony to check out the tractor or whatever, which I don't know if this was a setup because people think that Laura is with S.H.I.E.L.D. or something like that. So, she set up, Tony to go in the barn to go fix the tractor and then have Nick Fury, jump out of the shadows and shit and whatnot. Maybe Laura set that up. You never know. Mm-hmm. Just a little connection to the Hawkeye series right there. But we get our first appearance from Nick Fury. He comes out of the shadows. We get a dialogue between Fury and Tony about Ultron, about the AI aspect and everything and whatnot, what he did. And at the same time, they're going back and forth and they're showing us still Ultron with Dr. Cho and everything and whatnot in the cradle. and Wanda and Pietro and everything and whatnot. They're kind of going back and forth. And does anybody now? I'm gonna keep on moving on from that. But does anybody have anything? Cyber, did you want to say anything about that conversation that they have, Steve and Tony?
Well, I think it's kind of an interesting kind of telltale to what's going to end up happening in Civil War, and kind of they're falling out in Civil War together, and kind of how that ends up and how it ends in Civil War. I think that was kind of a tall tale. I mean, even in the first Avengers, you kind of had that feeling. But this one, I feel that conversation really showed how different their ideologies are and how different they are. And then just, after, Linda Carlina's character asked him to go check out the tractor, and he says, don't pick from my pile. That line is absolutely hilarious. And I laugh every single time I watch that film at that particular point in that scene. And then moving on to the, Nick Fury thing, that too, that's a great conversation there too, as well. That's covered in tidbits of kind of the future too, as well, where there's one point when Fury is saying something, Tony says something, and excuse me, I swear to God, there is something he says that is very indicative of what Tony ends up doing in Endgame. So I think, like Art was saying earlier, there is a lot of Easter eggs in this film, and these two scenes have a lot of those that are, pinpointing to the future of the MCU at this point.
Okay. Does anybody else have any words or anything they want to say about this, about that whole conversation with Tony and Steve, the Fury and Tony chat that they have? Anybody? You want to just move on?
It's been a while since it's been a couple weeks since I've seen it, so I don't recall the whole conversation.
Let me move on then. Let me just go ahead and move on. So we end up with Thor hooking up with Dr. Selvig, which is kind of like a unnecessary aspect of the film, to tell you the truth, kind of, in a way, but it is what it is. Also, I just want to point out that Shield Maiden, Set X, said that I think her training gave her an ability to read people, talking about Natasha. As a result of that, she studied Hulk to determine what would help bring him calm and in better control of his rage. Thank you very much, Shield Maiden. We definitely appreciate your presence in the comment section. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. And then, of course, we've got Shield Maiden jumping in again. It was the beginning of the dick measuring contest. Hey, there you go. Perfect. That's exactly what we like to hear on the Bleeding Edge. So, all right. So we get Thor hooking up with Dr. Selvig. He's got to go to some special cave or whatever with some special pond or whatever in it. And then we go back to Clint's farm with Fury and the team. They're talking about Ultron. Kind of planning, kind of discussing Ultron and whatnot and what his motives are and everything. Like we talked about before, at that point, Ultron actually physically handles the Mind Stone in his hand himself and places it on his new body. Thor then goes to the stupid cave with the pond that I don't even know what the hell it's about or whatever. And the water does something magical or whatever, and he has visions of the Infinity Stones and Ultron's ultimate goals and everything and whatnot. So I don't really feel like there's that much really with to flush out with that. I mean, does anybody have any opinions and whatnot on that whole thing with Thor and the pond and the visions and everything? Is there anything in that?
Yeah, I'd like to throw out something there.
Oh,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Can I go first? Okay.
Go ahead, Renee.
Yeah, my understanding is that scene was chopped up, that it was originally more extended. I think I've seen a little bit of it on the Disney Plus channel they provided. But if you see the opening scene, Solving's walking in with this gold box, and then it's never referred to again. But what that's supposed to be in there are Norn stones, and these. If you've seen any of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think in maybe the latter part of the series is the Norn stones factor into that, so it explains what they are. But these are magical stones that come from the 9 realms that can be used to override Odin's magic. And being in that pond, the Norn stones help give Thor a vision of the Ragnarok, post-Ragnarok. That's very different from the post-Ragnarok that we see later in the in the end game.
Yeah, I mean, he does essentially have visions of like the Infinity Stones coming together and kind of like foreboding Thanos and everything in a way. He does. Like there is a little bit of that going on. Arch, you had something?
Nope, she hit it. There was a whole extended edition and had to do with connecting to the 9 realms. Renee got it pretty spot on there.
Okay. Audie?
They just wanted the blonde-haired, blue-eyed dude to be naked because that's how you bring the women in.
Yep, that's right.
There's no point to this. Yeah, just get in the pool, man. Shut up.
But first,
That
I
is
must
right.
take off all my clothes.
Yeah,
Yep,
all of my
that's right. It was very effective. They did a good job with that. So, basically, after that, we then have the turning point where Wanda glimpses Ultron's ultimate plans while they're still in the process of like using the cradle to try to finish Ultron's body with Cho. She reads his like dreams or his mind and realizes what his ultimate plans and goals are and whatnot for humanity, to destroy humanity and everything. And then her and Pietro basically bail on him. Wanda like unhexes Dr. Cho. Ultron realizes the Quinjet is coming and the Avengers are coming and goes mobile with the cradle in like a shipping truck. So at that point, we get the beginning of a really, really, really cool action scene. That's like a quasi chase, like slash like action, like fighting kind of like scene, like there's combat, there's chasing, like there's cars, there's motorcycles. And essentially Cap comes in first. Hawkeye's flying the Quinjet. Black Widow's on a motorcycle, and I don't know about everybody else. Does anybody have any thoughts on how cool Black Widow looks on a motorcycle?
No, I don't.
No? Doesn't do anything for you, Audie?
I mean, that's so specific in the sense of how does she look cool on a motorcycle? I'm like, I mean, it's Black Widow. She look good in whatever she does, right?
That's right. You're right about that. So, Cap actually...
Not that good she won't get her movie until like years later.
That's true. But that's another conversation. So, Cap actually jumps in and like starts throwing down with Ultron. One-on-one. Which I think is very interesting, to tell you the truth. And I kind of want to stop right there and just ask everybody's thoughts on kind of what I just covered, where we're at that point, before we really get into the meat of that action scene and the chase and everything and whatnot, and we know where that kind of like ends up leading. But before we get to that point, Renee, and then maybe Audie, if you want to come in after Renee, is there anything in there, anything that you find worth talking about, like about that aspect of the film, as we're like kind of like leading up to like this big action scene?
Well, not specifically. I mean, I just thought it was as usual. I thought it was just exceptionally well done one scene. I mean, Captain America and sort of facing off and having his fighting and having a dialectic at the same time with Ultron was interesting and fun to watch and gives people something a little bit more than just pure action. It's a thinking action, maybe you can call it that.
Okay, Audie, any thoughts on like that section of the movie before we really get into like the heavy like part of the action scene that comes up next?
I mean, it kind of works in the film because that's Josh Whedon's style of doing things. The comedy action doesn't work in other movies or other stuff he does per se. I mean, Buffy the Vampire is a good example of it working, but I feel like there are times where he kind of does the same generic thing over and over again, and it's okay, it's cool, but when you start watching a couple of the films, you start noticing it's kind of stale.
Okay, that's fair. Arch?
Yo, I got something here in middle that this started ramping me up in a way that I hear very few people talk about. I don't, as you know, I don't watch very many trailers. I did see the first one, which I really love, the teaser trailer that they did at Comic-Con. I love that trailer. It's one of my favorites in the entire series. I can watch it all the time. But what got me here is I didn't know anything about what was going to happen. And when he places that gem in the forehead of this new, whatever he's creating, this new body for himself, I started to get in the back of my head, wait, is that the Vision? Like, I didn't know. And I started to get like super excited about this idea. And this entire sequence leading up to that, that's just in the back of my mind going, wait, are they really doing this? Because I had no idea. And it was just like super exciting for me, like throughout that entire sequence, all the way up until the later scene when they start to wake up that body. I had that in the back of my mind. And I was just super pumped the entire time.
Well, just moving right on from there, we jump into like the actual action scene, right? Well, you know what, Cyber, did you want to jump in real quick?
What was the question again?
Leading up to like the actual like full throttle action scene where we get into like the meat of that, like up until that point where we get Scarlet Witch and Pietro kind of realizing that Ultron's a bad guy and shit.
I mean, pretty much everyone else has said exactly, I think, what I was thinking about that whole process. And overall, it was an interesting scene. It was interesting to see Wanda and Pietro like reverse their thoughts on what's going on and to end up helping the Avengers. And I thought it was nice to see that, they start becoming the heroes that we know they are from the comic books.
Okay. And now as I move into this next section, as I actually talk about this like crazy action scene with the chase and everything, and like the truck, and the truck has the cradle in it, of course. Ultron is still trying to assemble his new body, like, while being mobile and everything and whatnot. Of course, Cap shows up. His job is to kind of go ahead and, like, keep Ultron busy and everything and whatnot. So he's throwing down one-on-one with Ultron, using his shield and everything and whatnot, and actually, like, going fist-to-fist with him, like, throwing, like having, like, full-on hand-to-hand combat with him and whatnot. I found that to be kind of interesting, just because they definitely showed that Ultron was more powerful than Captain America. It was obvious that, like, Ultron was stronger and everything, and, like, more badass. But it was actually kind of interesting that Steve Rogers' Captain America was able to keep up with him in a fight the way that he was. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I would think that Ultron would be too much for him. But either way, Cap manages to, like, take on Ultron and keep him busy for, like, freaking 8-10 minutes straight, fighting him and everything and whatnot, in and out of that train and everything. And essentially, at that point, Wanda and Pietro completely go to the good side and, like, step in to help Cap. Of course, in the meantime, Hawkeye and Wanda are still doing their thing. Hawkeye's flying the Quinjet. Ultron's robots, his bots, like, become rockets and propel the truck that has the cradle up into the air, and they start flying it. Black Widow's in it. She jumped in. She's in there with the cradle. And essentially, if I remember correctly, we end up with basically Ultron taking off. If I remember correctly, Hawkeye ends up getting the cradle, doesn't he? He does.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, Hawkeye gets the cradle. And Black Widow ends up just, like, stuck in the plane. I guess with, like, Ultron, basically, or whatever. And at that point, we get the scene where Wanda actually warns Steve about Tony. About what Tony's going to do with the body, with the Ultron, with the AI, or whatever you want to call it. What's going to be Vision. She warns, Captain America, Steve Rogers, that, Tony's going to do something crazy. And so basically what I wanted to ask y'all was, you know, there was more to it. I mean, you saw Scarlet Witch slow down that train with her powers and save all those people. Quicksilver ran around and was saving innocent people and stuff like that and whatnot when the train was out of control and everything. And that was cool. But as far as that action scene goes, folks, like, how would you rank it? I mean, you know, was it excellent? Was it like out of this world? Was it okay? I mean, you know, again, this is Age of Ultron. This is what? Cyber 2014? 2015? Okay, so at that point, that's still pretty far back in terms of like the special effects and whatnot and everything. I think it was a pretty cool action scene. But I want to get everybody's thoughts, and I'll start with you, Audie.
I mean, whatever. I mean, the one action scene I really thought we were going to talk about is the Hulkbuster shit. I don't know if you guys
We already covered
mentioned that. But I just want to know what I'm saying about action scenes is that's.
I'll tell you what. Just for you, just to be special, just for you, just because I'm a nice guy, I'll let you talk about the Hulkbuster thing with Iron Man. You won't let me talk
about whatever the fuck.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You
Yeah.
can have a couple minutes of that.
I was just gonna say, like, you know how fucked the Avengers would have been if Ultron found that body instead of the others? That would have made the movie even more interesting. Ultron in that kind of a Hulkbuster body just raining down, beating up everybody. That would have been amazing. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, most definitely. So, as far as that action scene in Age of Ultron goes, though, Audie, how do you think it was? Was it decent?
I mean, like, I don't want to get ahead, but I'm just saying, like, the speedster you have, he does something so amazing that it doesn't work at the end. That you're like, then why did you put him in if he's not going to use his power to good use in the most critical and important way? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Arch, what do you think, brother? What's your take on that whole action scene, that whole deal?
I think it was great, and I think it was great for the reason that Marvel does a great job staging what's happening. Like, you always get it. They've got people all over the place. You know, Hawkeye and Widow are having a conversation. Cap's fighting off Ultron. You know, Bruce is out like struggling with recovery, and then you've got the twins kind of coming to their own realization and sort of flipping and start to side and help out with the Avengers. You've just got a lot going on. People are in different places, but you always can follow it. You know what's going on. Everybody's doing something exciting. I just think it really works. I think it really flows well. You get it. I like how they win, but they lose. There's always, with Marvel action, there's always a story going on. It's not just people punching each other and will eventually stop. There's always something going on, and you get it. It all progresses the story. I think they did a fantastic job with that one.
Renee, and Renee's going to be taking off here in just a minute, but Renee, do you want to go ahead and you want to jump in on this?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, you know, there are going to be plot holes and everything, and I think Audie, you know, sort of points that out with Pietro. But yeah, I think as far as the action goes, it was pretty excellent. You know, I mean, it's on par with everything they had done up to that point, and then some. You know, I like the whole, but you know, talking about him having the Hulk smasher body. Well, I mean, he was already in the process of just, you know, taking a chunk of Earth out of the, you know, out of the planet, and just taking it far enough and letting, you know, it would have taken care of the whole planet right there. So you really didn't have to bother with it. He just wanted his beautiful new slender Vision body that would come soon after. But anyway, guys, I appreciate it, and I've had a really good time. And I got to jump off because I gotta go to work. So
okay,
night,
Renee.
night.
Hey, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate you.
As always.
Bye-bye.
Take
See
care.
you next time.
Later.
Have a good night, Renee. Renee,
All right,
of
now that
course,
the woman's gone, let's really say things.
Well, anyways, Renee comes from the Podcast of Champions, sakar.freeforums.net, and I wanted to just mention that this is, of course, a connected Infinity Saga review series that the MCU's Bleeding Edge, Cyber, and I have been doing these shows pretty much without fail with the Podcast of Champions always on hand. At least one of them, usually on the show with us for every one of these reviews. We try to have 2 if we can get 2. But like we usually one's the most we usually get. But we've been doing all of them with the Podcast of Champions. Those are our brothers and our sisters over there, and we got hella love for them over there. But so basically,
We love hanging out with you, man.
Yeah, no, of course. And of course, Arch, of course, comes from the wonderful Podcast of Champions. But Cybernetic Shark, your take on that action scene, sir?
Let's see. So, like you were saying before, yeah, this came out in 2015. Technology has changed quite, AI has changed quite a bit in the last 7 years. And, for its time, it was really done very well. And I thought the whole sequence was really well connected. I thought it had a really great idea. I mean, hands down, I thought it was very stupid to bring in a new character and kill it right off. That was completely dumb on their part, I thought. But just like Audie was saying, bring in this character and then all of a sudden not using his powers, this is kind of dumb. And so other than that, I still think all around it was a really great sequence. The fighting between all the robots that, Ultron has created out of vibranium. They're fighting. That whole sequence is really fun and, enticing. The nice kind of like steel 3D shot that they do inside of the church or inside of that. I think it's a church, I think is what it is. What they're in there and showing it, doing the 360 around them, showing them all these fighting sequences and stuff like that was really fun, I thought.
Cyber, you're going way down. You're going way down into the film now.
Probably should, yeah.
And that whole thing was really well done. So yeah, I thought it was a really great action sequence.
Oh man,
Good
Cyber,
job, Cyber.
Cyber, you really pushed my outline up, man. Holy crap! I was just talking about the action scene where Cap and Hawkeye and Black Widow got the cradle and everything and whatnot. Like, yeah, dude.
Guess you weren't getting it cracking.
But hey, Cyber was ready. Cyber was ready to get into like the end of the movie already. So I mean, hey, no.
Can I mention something about the Quicksilver power thing real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah. Just because I have a slightly different take, and it's not really a disagreement, but I think there's an inherent problem with speedster characters where if they don't get away from something, people, there's this, they didn't use their powers. It's as if the expectation is they're infinitely fast or that they're always so fast they can get away with anything. And I think it becomes a problem kind of with speedster characters, just from an audience point of view, that all they have to do is slow down the footage or have everybody else around them moving slow. And then, like, I'd really like to see how much time goes by. I'd really like somebody to calculate how fast these guys go, because I don't have a problem really with a speedster character getting shot. Like, what they could never get shot. They're always so fast they can always dodge everything. I don't know. Like, I think there could be a situation where, you're looking at it and you're like, there's this bullet. It's about to hit this child. The only way to save it is to get in between them, and it's going to hit him. And I don't have a problem with that at all, really, to be honest.
That's not the point I was making in my comment. I was just saying that I thought killing them off in general was just a dumb idea.
That's something I couldn't argue with. If you feel that way, I will not disagree.
Well, because nobody said that a speedster can't get shot.
Yeah, that's not. But what I was trying to say is that the thing, yeah, you're right. There's a problem with speedsters because they're supposed to have that situational awareness because everything is slow, so they're able to pick up on things quicker. I just, it just kind of ironic that the fastest man got shot. So that's the thing that breaks it down. Is like, yes, he can get shot, but to a certain extent, it almost feels like, honestly, lazy writing. I mean, that's the thing about speedsters. It's like, yeah, he's super fast. Doesn't mean he can't get hurt. Doesn't mean somebody can't kill him. But it's like, really? That's how you died? Okay. All right. I guess that's where we're going. That's what we're going with. So I guess if he had that vibranium on, he would be okay, right? Like Black Panther, or no?
Sort of. Well, either way. So essentially, Hawkeye brings the Cradle back with the Ultron body back to the Avengers HQ, and Tony tries to convince Banner to create another AI bot or whatever, and reveals that Jarvis has still been alive the entire time and everything and whatnot, and wants to put Jarvis in the body, basically. Then we get, like, of course, we find out that Black Widow wakes up and she's being imprisoned by Ultron. Ultron's talking to her like he wants an audience and everything. And essentially, Black Widow contacts Clint through, like, secret spy shit. And then we get Cap, Wanda, and Pietro facing off with Tony and Banner, like, in an argument, and, like, a fight and a tussle occurs. Quicksilver runs around and pulls the plug on, like, the Cradle because, like, they want to stop what they're trying to do with another, like, you know, AI bot or whatever, you know, Ultron or version of Ultron. All of a sudden, in the scrum, Thor shows up, jumps on top of the Cradle, blasts it with lightning for a couple of minutes or whatever, and then blam, we get Vision for the first time. So, basically, before we get into the team assembling to go take on Ultron, what we get out of Vision when he first comes out of the Cradle, as far as, like, the things he says, the way he acts and everything and whatnot, his attitude, his demeanor, you guys have any opinions or thoughts on any of that? You know, what did you think of what did you think? Well, actually, bring it back. Can you remember what you thought when Vision popped out for the first time back in the day when it first came out and first happened?
Hell yeah. I was jumping out of my seat. I was waiting for that the entire time since I saw that gemstone get put in his head, and I absolutely couldn't believe they went there, and I thought it was just friggin' awesome. I was as giddy over that as I have been about anything they've ever done. I really was.
Awesome. Anybody else? Any thoughts? Anybody can remember? Cyber, can you remember?
I mean, honestly, I didn't know anything about Vision before that. Like, you know, because I hadn't read any of the comic books about Vision or the Avengers, really, or anything like that. So I had no clue who Vision was. So when all of a sudden this AI creature pops out, you know, from that Cradle with the Mind Stone in his head, I was like, ooh, this is interesting. Who is this character? And I remember just sitting there in my seat going, this will be interesting to see what this character goes and what he can do and all this kind of stuff. Because like I said, I didn't know anything about him. And I actually didn't know anything about him until after I saw the movie. I went and I researched about him. So I had no idea. So I couldn't be as joyous as Arch was about it. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it was really cool to see Vision. And I absolutely love Paul Bettany. He is a fantastic actor. Ever since I saw him in, you know, A Knight's Tale, back in 2001, that was the first film I ever saw of him. I knew this guy was an amazing actor. So when he came out and was Vision, I was pumped.
Arch, did you hear that? We actually landed a contract with R.J. Reynolds.
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, man. I told
That's
you
good.
we're gonna start promoting cigarette smoking on the show.
Jeff is over there cracking himself up. Just cracking himself up. He's like,
dude, it's hilarious, man. I'm telling you right now. I'm gonna make a fake advertisement of like for cigarettes or whatever that I can play during the show. But yeah, look, you know what, kids? It's actually pretty cool to smoke. It is. Don't let what anybody else tells you.
I can't wait.
You
for
do
your
that.
ads.
Let me know how it works.
Yeah, me and Arch have already planned it. Like, we've already designed, like, we talked about, like, some merch we could do and whatnot, like pro-smoking merch. Like, you know.
Did we discuss that? I'm going to have to go on record. I'm not sure I remember that conversation.
That was mostly me talking to you, I think.
I was
Arch.
like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Just make sure you include one of those, like, high school posters that you had on your lunchroom wall where, like, the ducks and stuff were smoking. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
yeah, okay.
I do. Gunnar, what's up, man? Gunnar, we can't hear you, man. What the hell?
Says you're on mute.
No, I can't read lips, bruh. Can you hear us?
Get that 21st century unmute button.
There you
Let's
go.
guys.
Gunnar, good timing, man. Renee just left, and now you're here.
Awesome. Yeah, sorry I'm a little late.
Hey, you know what, Gunnar? It's all good, brother. Your presence is always welcome. Whatever time you get on the show.
Awesome.
So anyways, Gunnar, how you doing, man? It's good to see you.
Yeah, man, I'm doing good.
Well, look, man, we're actually at the point of Age of Ultron where I'm asking everybody's opinion of what they thought when they saw Vision pop out of that cradle, like back in 2015 or whatever, when you saw it like in the theater or whatever.
I mean, at the time, I didn't really know who Vision was. I hadn't really started tackling the comics yet. So, I mean, I thought he looked awesome. And then it wasn't long after that I started reading West Coast Avengers and really started enjoying the Vision. So, but I mean, he looked awesome.
Oh, yeah, he did. Cyber.
Again?
Oh, did I already go to you?
Yeah, you already told.
I apologize. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Audie, your turn, brother.
About time. Damn, the fuck, you forgot me? No.
Oh, stop.
So the whole thing about it, Jeff was like, I guess I gotta go to the black person. Audie, the whole thing with Vision was so funny because when Vision popped up, I was like, oh, okay. Because like what everyone said, who the fuck is Vision? You know, like if you didn't read the comics or you weren't really like if you don't really knowledgeable about him, you just he looked cool, but you're just like, who is this? So for me, when I did see the actor portray him, I thought of the movies he was in that I saw at the time. It was like Legion and Priest, and that's what I thought. Oh yeah, he's definitely gonna be I guess he's gonna be the action hero in a sense because he did a lot of action in those movies, and I know he didn't do as much, but that's what I was thinking. I was thinking more of the actor than the actual character, but the character did look cool.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I mean, hey, that's essentially, you know, what my thoughts were. I knew who Vision was. I thought he looked pretty comic book accurate when he came out of the cradle. I loved him picking up Thor's hammer. That was really cool. I dug that a lot. And then him kind of like leading the Avengers, almost being like, we've got to get together, you know, like it's not going to work unless we all fight or whatever, you know? And so basically this leads us into like the big battle of the movie, the big fight of the movie, the big shebang, like the final battle, you know, and the Avengers plan everything out and whatnot, and like, you know, they get together and essentially decide that they're gonna go to Sokovia and take on Ultron, kill Ultron or whatever. And basically Bruce finds Nat and like gets her out of her cage or whatever. Nat pushes him off like a cliff or whatever, or like an edge, making him into Hulk, like turning him into Hulk for like the fight, basically, even though Bruce doesn't want to be Hulk. And basically we then get like the massive battle scene of the film that Cyber brought up earlier. We get Wanda and Quicksilver now like basically quasi Avengers. They're good characters now in the film. They're doing stuff like before, like they're going around Sokovia, and Quicksilver goes into the police station and everything and whatnot and shoots the gun to like get the cops to start evacuating people and stuff and whatnot. And Wanda's like hexing people to like get them to leave their house, their homes and stuff and whatnot. Then the battle ensues, and it's like all kinds of like Ultron bots that I guess Ultron built or whatever, you know? Like there's a whole army of them and everything. The Avengers fight them. It's very interesting. There's lots of cool stuff. We get the really, really cool like Hawkeye speech to Wanda where he's like, and I have a bow and arrow. So just like nut up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and if you go out the door, you're an Avenger or whatever and all that deal. Very impactful. I actually really like that scene. But so
she could have told him to shut the fuck up. That would have been fun.
Yes. So it leads up to what Cyber mentioned just a little while ago, that huge like cathedral scene where they have that big fight where they're just like rotating the camera 360 and you're seeing all the different Avengers fighting kind of like in the same area and whatnot. That was really cool. It looked really cool in the trailer. It looked really cool in the film. And Arch, before you get out of here, brother, do you want to go ahead and lead off and talk about the final battle?
Yeah. Real quick thoughts. I mean, I thought it all worked. I thought all the character payoff moments were solid. I thought the action was again well choreographed in terms of placement. There's a lot of people doing a lot of different things in a lot of different places, and I thought you could follow it all. It was well paced. You knew what was going on. I mean, you got Thor in the center being the muscle, destroying this thing. The overall intensity of this whole city rising is kind of unique, sort of in the genre or just anything really. But I thought it was just a great concept watching this happen. It felt really ominous. I mean, you've got Cap doing his thing. You've got Tony coming up with a plan. You've got Hawkeye and Natasha trying to get people out of there for evacuations. I just thought like everybody played their part. I thought it was really good. The visual of the end, just like with everything just exploding and the spire of oh dang, what's the freaking metal? Why am I forgetting that?
Vibranium?
Nobody's gonna help me out here. What's the metal?
Vibranium.
Vibranium?
God, I couldn't get like ultimatum or something out of my head. That's so stupid. I'm sorry. The vibranium like spire coming down and like crashing and like all the pieces. I thought it was just great. I thought the whole thing worked. I love all the little teeny character moments. I love the payoff to a Hawkeye and Quicksilver's little rivalry that kind of progressed throughout the end until they had an understanding with the whole you didn't see that coming thing that came back several times throughout the film. I thought they worked that pretty well. I love Wanda's sort of dissension, where she kind of breaks down a little bit there, and you see her start to do that in future films a little bit more. But I thought that was a great lead-in and a great intro to her being like a full-time Avenger. I don't know, it just really worked. I was really, really satisfied with this film. I still contend that if this film had been the first Avengers film, everybody would be talking about it with, absolute love and admiration.
That's a good point, Arch. That's a good point. And you know what? Why don't we send you off on that on a high note, brother?
Pleasure to be here, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Arch. Hopefully we'll see you soon, brother. We all
Later,
love you, man.
Arch.
Yeah, I can't even hear you. You sound all garbled and everything. I don't even know what the hell you said. Anyways, anyways, Gunnar, since you just came on, let me go ahead and throw the same question back at you. What are your thoughts on like the final battle? And of course, like it was nice of Arch to kind of fill in some stuff that I didn't mention. The fact that the bots like take off and send Sokovia up into the sky with the idea of then dropping it and like causing some kind of catastrophic, event. What are your thoughts on that whole final battle, Gunnar?
I mean, I'll tell you what, I'll be honest, and I'll kind of piggyback a little bit off what Arch said. I think this movie is aged better than any of the Marvel movies. When I first saw it, I left that theater thinking, this is my least favorite Marvel movie at the time. Hated it. Man, I was so disappointed by it. But as time goes on, I really, really love this movie more and more. Every time I watch it, I love it that much more. So this battle being the main meat in this sandwich, man, what a great battle. I mean, what a good way to balance it. And compared to the first, this blows the first Avengers movie out of the water. I mean, if we're just talking this last scene, you got everything. The whole Hawkeye scene with Wanda, I got a bone. That's great. Just seeing them work together. I mean, the first scene is great. This whole movie's great. But this last battle, especially the camera shot where they're all spinning around, is great. James Spader's awesome. Just, going from bot to bot to bot. I know I'm not even really answering your question because there's just so much that I love about this scene, but it's great, man. It really is.
Excellent. Audie.
Here I go. So anyway, the thing about the scenes that's kind of funny is you see it over and over again that the Avengers are always fighting these massive, like this massive army, and there's always some shit in the sky that they got to stop. So it's like kind of like the same shit over and over again. And I guess people don't really notice it unless you bring it to their attention. But yeah, the scene looks cool until you notice that they've done that before. And the threat is interesting, but they've done that before. So I think that's the issue with sometimes with Marvel movies, is there's always like a cookie cutter, copy paste type of thing that they put in the majority of their movies. But it's not bad. I wouldn't say it's the best. It's good. I think the Captain America Winter Soldier and Civil War are two of the best films, honestly, for someone who wasn't like a real big Marvel fan. You come and see that and see how much of the writing and the action sequence and the character development is better in those two movies. And I think those are the movies that really grab my attention as opposed to Age of Ultron, because it seems like I've seen that before.
Winter Soldier's what got me into Marvel. I mean, I didn't love anything until that movie came out, and then from there I went back. So yeah, man, I hear you. And I think the best Avengers movie is Civil War, not even being an Avengers.
Just Audie, give it time, man. Maybe you never know. Maybe Age of Ultron will grow on you, and maybe like 5 or 10 years from now, you'll look back and you'll watch it again, and you'll actually like it.
No.
No? Okay. Cyber.
It's like there's so many Marvel movies. Like, that's the thing. Like, they're all not going to be good. That doesn't mean that the cinematic universe is bad. I just feel like there's better execution. You know,
no. Hey, like, that's your opinion.
Ultron is a good villain, but the thing is, Ultron is a good villain, but the thing about it is he seems very generic, because it's like you have a robot that wants to destroy all humans. Oh, really? We never heard that before. You know, and he doesn't do anything else interesting. I don't know if you ever seen the Disney Plus show What If, how they expand on Ultron, just going beyond that and doing everything possible to accomplish his goal, and seeing how in the end of it, it's kind of fruitless.
Well, that's the thing.
I understand
that's the
you
thing,
hate
though.
humans.
They didn't what the version of Vision that you saw in What If was more like the comic book version of like Ultron, like what Ultron was really capable of, like Ultimate Ultron or whatever. Like, because I'm telling you right now, they depowered Ultron for like this movie. You know what I'm saying? Compared to like what he was in the comic books. But that's neither here nor there. Cyber, the final battle, brother.
Well, like I mentioned earlier, that the 360 thing is really great.
Yep.
But I liked what Pop Culture Podcast said in the comments about Hawkeye's speech to Wanda, which is a really great scene. I do have to agree with that. And how, basically, Hawkeye basically pumps up Wanda to get her to, fight and everything.
I mentioned it earlier.
That's good. I didn't remember that, but okay. And I just thought it was a really great, just little speech that he did, and a great scene. That was a really great part of that final sequence of that film, especially what Hawkeye's running. He's like, nobody would see me. Nobody would see it. And when he's about to shoot Quicksilver, that's absolutely hilarious. And I think there's some really great jokes throughout this whole entire film. And that's just one of them. That's right at the end of the film. And especially during even the Hulkbuster scene, going back to that a little bit, when Tony hits Hulk and he's like, all of a sudden looks at him and spits out a tooth that he's like, I'm sorry. That is absolutely priceless and perfect in that scene. And I think that's another great thing about Age of Ultron, is that it had that kind of great humor throughout the film that a lot of people don't talk about, that I think is really fun. But overall, that whole entire end sequence is really well done. Lots of great action, lots of great one-liners, lots of great dialogue. And overall, I thought it was a really decent ending.
Okay, well, before we finish off Age of Ultron and get into like the post-credit scenes and stuff like that and whatnot, we are going to share screen really quick. And we, of course, are going to go watch, what a surprise, Bandmaid.
Breaking new gate.
on fire. Pizza. Okay. What can I say? That was freaking awesome as usual because it's Band-Maid. What else can you say? What else can you expect? I'm gonna go around quickly. I know everybody here on the show is not as big a fan of Band-Maid as I am, but I am gonna go around really quick and just get a quick reaction. I'll start with you, Gunnar. What'd you think of Band-Maid Thrill?
Sure. I mean, their bass player is awesome.
Oh yeah, that's Misa. Misa. Did you like that groove? Did you like that riff?
Yeah, she's pretty good, man.
Yeah, most definitely. Cyber, what'd you think of it?
Well, I've listened to it before because
Okay.
we reacted to it before.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, and I have to say the exact same thing I said last time. It's okay. It's okay.
All right, Audie. Oh shit, Audie, we lost your audio, bro.
We can't hear you, Audie.
We can't hear you, man. We lost you.
It's so good he's speechless, I think.
You might have to cycle back. You might have to go out and come back on. Yeah, because you can hear me. I can tell. Yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back. I'll ask him about what he thinks about the Band-Maid song when he comes back. But back to Age of Ultron, wrapping it up. So essentially the movie ends, with Vision killing Ultron. We get the new Avengers team with Captain America and the new Avengers with Falcon and Wanda and Vision and everything and whatnot. There he is.
Hello.
We can hear you now.
Okay.
What'd you think of Band-Maid Thrill?
I swear to God, if you play that shit again, yo, you played the whole damn song. God damn. No, they're okay, but I don't know. I'm not gonna be a fan of Band-Maid, so
that's okay. You don't have to be. So we're talking about how the movie ends with Vision killing Ultron. Captain America has like the new Avengers team and everything and whatnot. And then we get a pre-credits or whatever, or post-credits scene of Thanos getting the gauntlet to start the Infinity Saga, like the Infinity War, getting the Infinity Stones and whatnot. So, what are your thoughts, guys, on that whole part of the film? How'd you feel about seeing the new Avengers team? The first time you saw that and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? What were your thoughts on seeing Thanos? What do you got, Audie?
From the way the story was, I understand that they're trying to build up their whole universe, but it was just kind of random just have Thanos just pop up in a sense. I know they were trying to build it up, but it just was like, oh, okay. I thought it would have been kind of cool if Ultron lived for a little bit because it seemed like he was kind of one and done, but it's just my take on it.
Well, we actually have a copy of a video of Audi doing his driver's test.
No, the fuck you don't.
Hey, you got in the lines.
Jesus Christ, Audie, what the fuck happened there, bro?
I didn't even see that. But yeah, Jeff,
that was rough, man. I can't imagine you did very I can't imagine you did very well on your test with that shit, bro.
And not only did he
yeah, we get it.
Not only did he do that, but he changed sexes too.
Fuck, what is he doing?
Holy fuck!
I didn't even see it. I didn't even see the video.
Oh my god!
Jeff is cracking himself up in the corner.
I can't believe me. If you would have saw the video, you would have been cracking up too. It's funny.
Yeah, I'll take your word. I'll take your.
Oh my god. That was good. So, anyways, going around, guys, like, Gunnar, going to you. How'd you feel about seeing the new Avengers team for the first time? Like, what were your thoughts? What'd you think about seeing Thanos?
I mean, that Avengers scene was great. I mean, I wanted to punch someone as soon as he goes Avengers, and then they cut it out before he said assembled. That kind of drove me a little crazy. I don't know if you guys have seen the original cut where that Carol Danvers was supposed to show up in that scene. I think it's better that she wasn't in the scene. I think it's way better how they eventually introduced her. But the Thanos, I mean, it wasn't a big deal. This is the third time we'd seen him, right? Because he was in the Avengers post credit. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy. So when we knew what was coming, it was just it was the right post credit scene. You want to set up the next Avengers movie. He is the next Avengers movie. Little did we know he would be the protagonist in the next Avengers movie. So that was fitting. I'm fine with it. I like seeing the new Avengers team though.
Oh, me too. Cyber.
I mean, it's a great, interesting little end sequence, showing all the new people that are going to be assembled into the new Avengers. It really is kind of bittersweet because really, if you think about it, those new Avengers really weren't together very long because as soon as things happened in Civil War, they were all disbanded. So, I mean, it was kind of bittersweet, that ending, showing this supposed new Avengers team, and yet really not getting much of that new Avengers team except for a very short while. And then, of course, Thanos popping up, taking on the Infinity Gauntlet himself and saying, I got to do this myself. That just was like the catalyst saying, oh, yep, Thanos is finally coming, which is really fantastic. And it was nice little treat of, finally, we're going to finally get Thanos, big bad guy, to finally be a part of one of the films.
Yep, most definitely. And I must say that, although I think you made a really good point, Cyber, about how long we actually got with that new Avengers team. It was not very long. It was really exciting to see them at the end of the movie like that, like with Wanda rolling in and Vision rolling in and Falcon, I love Falcon. I mean, I love him as Captain America. Don't get me wrong. Gunnar, I can't show you my new Captain America poster because my camera won't show it right now. But I got one of the new Sam Wilson Captain America posters, bro. It's awesome, man. It's dope. I haven't shown it to you. I haven't shown it to you, Audie, yet either, man.
Yo, they really did him dirty though, if you think about it, because he does have an interesting power. But he kind of gets shit on like Aquaman, because Aquaman talks to fish and people are like, that's useless. And I'm like, but he talks to all type of aquatic life. So that's a very interesting power that they don't explore. And it's the same with Falcon, but it's more avian. And they don't really explore the fact that he could talk to avian creatures, not just birds, just avian. And they don't explore that. And I thought that would have been interesting. They kind of don't explore in his power set.
There you go. There it is. The man. There he is. I love it.
I can't think of Aquaman now without thinking of that first episode of Peacemaker. It made me laugh so hard.
I still have not seen. I have not seen Peacemaker yet.
Because John 13974 on Instagram, why would he lie?
Exactly.
I have not seen Peacemaker yet. I'm still. I'm watching The Mandalorian for the first time. I'm getting through that.
Really good.
I'm trying to keep up with Boba Fett. Audie is going to be on with me on Friday night to do the Book of Boba Fett episode 2, review with Alexis moderating. Gunnar, are you going to be on Friday too?
I have plans, but there's a heck of a lot of snow. So if I can get out of my plans, yes. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to get out of these plans.
Okay. But you'll try to make it on Sunday if you can.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so Audie, looks like we're going to have a good show, man. I just want to real quick just point out that I am doing like new live streams of the Bleeding Edge on Fridays and Sundays. I moderate them myself. And Audie's been very helpful to the team and everything and whatnot, and like had my back and everything, and been on some of the weekend shows with me recently and whatnot, which I really appreciate. Gunnar has been on some of the weekend shows, and Jeff Bowman in the comment section also has been really like stepping up for me on the weekends too, and in the comment section too, which I really appreciate. Jeff, it's good to have you in the comment section, brother. But guys,
Yo,
go ahead, Audie.
I gotta shout out Chris and Nancy, always there for my shows. I completely got to shout them out because I don't see the comments. I have to click on the comments.
What up, Nancy? How you doing, Chris? Thanks a lot for being here, guys. We really appreciate you joining us for the show. Thank you very much. I did say hi to you and everything and whatnot in the comment section already, but it's good to see you. Like, thanks for being here, Jeff. Thanks for being here, man.
I can't see it, so that's why.
No, but guys, I'll give everybody a chance to go ahead and plug wherever they want to plug before we get the hell out of here. Do you want to start, Gunnar?
Yeah, before I plug, let me just say one thing. If there's one phrase that is said more than anything leading up to Marvel movies, is this is how the MCU is going to introduce mutants. It was said in Shang-Chi with that fighting tournament. It was said in Eternals with the Deviants and the Deviant Gene. It was said all these movies. How are we to forget that this was the movie that introduced us to mutants? We got 2 mutants in this movie. No one wants to talk about it.
That's true. Good point.
Besides that, you can hear me, a bunch of my podcasts over at the Wide Open Mic Podcast Network at wideopenmic.net. I'm on Snap, an MCU podcast, and also working through We Have to Go Back, which is a Lost rewatch podcast, which is just so much fun. We got a virgin that's never seen Lost, and it's so awesome watching the show through his virgin eyes. It's great. So We Have to Go Back and Snap over on wideopenmic.net with a bunch of other podcasts they have there too. So check us out.
Jeez, man, you got to be careful throwing like words like virgin out there like that, man. You really got my ears like tuned in there for a minute when you said that, bro.
He is a lost virgin, man. No way to sugarcoat it.
Jeff was like, "Oh, I can't wait."
So, anyways, Audie, I know Audie's an actor, so he doesn't have a pod or like a YouTube or anything to shout out. But you can shout out your people and everything and whatnot if you want.
I got YouTube, but I'm like, just got my IG. Like I said before, actor Audie, and on my IG I got my Rizzle TV. And I got the actors Audie. Audie's art also on the page too. That's where I mostly put on my IG because most of my stuff I'm gonna put on IG anyway. Even YouTube and Clapper, I'm still gonna go through IG. So just check me out on IG, actor Audie.
That's right, Cyber. Can you believe it? We got another person from Rizzle on the show, man.
Yeah.
Right? I know you were saying that. That's great.
Cybershark before. But shout out to everybody else too. Nancy and Chris and anybody else who came and watched my shit. So
Cyber.
Well, of course, like we always say here on the MCU's Bleeding Edge, definitely check out our other solo stuff on, of course, Rizzle, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you can think of where we do extra stuff. Me and Mr. Jeff S, Mr. TrueKnowledge, also do stuff on TikTok and all that kind of good stuff. You can check out my solo stuff under Cyberneticshark, of course, under YouTube and all that kind of good stuff too as well. Don't forget to check out the awesome freeforms.net by Sakar as well, where you can also find the Podcast of Champions on sakar.freeform.net. If you go on there, you can find some great people to talk about pretty much anything you think of, from Resident Evil to Star Trek to Star Wars, anything you think of. They're a great group of clan, and especially if you get a chance to talk with them, you can be on their podcast as well, which is the Podcast of Champions. They're a great group of people. We had 2 of the people that are pretty much on there basically all the time, Mr. Arch, of course, and Renee herself, Miss Loki's mom. And yeah, definitely check those out. And also don't forget to check out, if you like the MCU Bleeding Edge as well, definitely check out our website as well. where we post all the great stuff as well and give you breakdowns of our episodes and so forth. So definitely check that out, people.
The MCU's bleedingedge.org, all lowercase.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cyber. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. I just want to go ahead and shout out to everybody, all the guests that came on the show tonight. I really appreciate all of you. Audie, it's great to have you. Gunnar, great to have you. Cyber, it's always great to work with you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Got much love for you. The green screen's looking good, bro. Looking real solid. Yeah, I mean, and Cyber pretty much covered the plugs. All I can honestly say is it's done. Cyber's rocking the green screen action. I just want to shout out Pop Culture Podcast for being in the comment section. I know Pop Culture Podcast. I've talked to him before. So thanks for being in the comment section, brother. I appreciate you. But yeah, I mean, honestly, the best thing you could possibly do for us would be to,
I thought they were real. I didn't even know that was a green screen.
Ring the bell for us and make sure you get the notification so you can see our new shows and whatnot and everything. I do Bleeding Edge reactions from time to time, so check those out. And we'll be back at it again next Wednesday, same time, same bat channel and whatnot. I think we're going to be covering Book of Boba Fett, I think, at that point, right, Cyber?
Correct.
Yep, that's right. So until then, folks, we are out of here, and peace.